normally don't like to do videos in cars because I'm like ADD with distraction. So I'm at a light, and today I decided to take you on my journey. I know some of you guys probably watched my video before where I was talking about a specific bank that gave me business credit. So today I decided that I'm going to go on a journey and go to like 2 or 3 different banks and just get an overall scheme of things of how I can leverage my corporation for business lines of credit. So I wish I could video the people that I talk to. So just to give you a little backdrop, I've already called these places, so I already know that they do offer business lines of credit, and the whole point of this video is for people that I call it OPP, other people's money, but you're not actually using other people's money, you're using your business credit. So this is for people that are wanting to use your business line of credit to purchase tax deed property. So I'm going to these 3 banks, and one of the questions I did not ask is do they go based off of your corporation or your credit? Because this was the last bank, that was the most they ever given me, and I was assuming that it was because, you know, I have a lot of collateral from these tax deed properties. So we'll see. That's going to be my leading question because I did not ask that. I was just so elated that they gave me that amount. So back in the day, like when I first started investing, one of the courses I took, they were talking about how to get money with your business line of credit. And so basically back in the day, they were saying just go open up, like 5 different business accounts, and then like 5 months later, ask for money. But I'm quite sure things have changed. Well, actually they have changed, because this last bank I went to, I just opened up the account, and it was like a streamlined process. Like they automatically gave it to me, and then they asked me did I want a business bank card, and I was like, I don't really want a business bank card. I want the money, and if, for those that don't know what a business line of credit, it gives you access to cash. So it's a line of credit, but it's actually cash. You can actually go into the bank and get how much ever you need for an auction, and it just really depends on the amount that you take, and you just pay that amount. So for example, I have a bank in California where I have a $50,000 line of credit. I used $10,000 of that, and it was like $150 a month. So now I'm just kind of like curious to see. I do have good credit. A lot of people talk about you don't have to have good credit in order to have business line of credit, but the jury's still out on that, because if you're a new corporation, they're gonna look at your credit. The thing about me is I've had mine since 2014, so I am an established corporation, and I've filed taxes on it every year. So that could be different for those that are, I'm just making sure it's still recording, for those that are new. But when I originally started, I did get, $10,000, and that was like back in 2014. So that's another question I could actually ask. So stay tuned. I'm about to pull up into a bank, and I'll tell you the results after I get out. Okay, so 2 hours later, I have been able to get 75, what is that? I think that's 150. So 2 hours later, 150,000, 75 from one bank, 75 from the other bank. So as I said before, one of the questions that I asked the banks was, is your credit one of the leading factors? One of the banks said yes. So I said I was going to go to 2 to 3. I went to 3. The other one, I didn't really like their terms. And in order for me to get a line of credit, I had to get a credit card. And I know you guys, that sounds crazy, but I was like, I don't need any more credit cards. I didn't want to get a credit card. I just strictly wanted business lines of credit. I have enough business cards, and it's hard to keep up with all of them. So anyway, on one bank, I just decided not to go with. And then also, wait, before I say that, let me just talk about the credit piece as far as your personal credit. So this particular bank, they said it is a factor, but it's not a leading factor. And then secondly, because I gave them collateral for like what kind of collateral for my application. They said some banks do that. It just really depends on the bank. So I am going to go home and I'm going to research some of these banks. I will be putting this in my course, and I'm going to research some of these banks to see if they're in, I don't want to say nationwide, but other than Texas, because I know they don't have these banks in California, so that's why I went to them. But I'm going to research and see if they're in other areas. Otherwise, it probably won't even be beneficial for my course members. But I will find some banks that I know that are, I don't want to say nationally known, but you can find them in other places. But what I do want you to get is that if you are in a small town or a small city and you know that the bank isn't as widely known, dang, what did that person say? It's like, I don't want to say economic development, but they do have special loans for small businesses. So it is advantageous to go to some of these mom and pop banks because, like I said, these banks aren't in California. So I'm going to consider them mom and pop because I've never heard of them before. And so that's why I wanted to go to them. And I'm kind of concluding that because these banks aren't not nationally and they're small community banks, they're willing to give more to small business owners, because I have yet to go and get this like from a Chase or a Wells Fargo. I will give you a nugget though. US Bank is really good with business credit, but they are definitely credit score driven. So one of the banks said no, it's not credit score driven, and then the other bank said they do consider the credit score. So it's a give and take. But what I did learn overall, even the bank that I went to a couple of weeks back, is that these banks are not nationally owned. They're big banks. I personally think they're probably like, mom and pop banks of a bigger bank, but I've never heard of these banks before. I've never seen them, but it's just kind of like, in New York, I think it's Citibank that's big, but Citibank's not big on the West Coast. So these banks that I went to, they're very small. I have seen them around Texas, so they're big in the area. So I say that all to say, to go to some of your small local banks before you waste your time and gas, I highly suggest calling or looking online and seeing if they even offer business accounts and then asking for business lines of credit. But I mean, 2 to 3 hours. And I also was talking about construction loans, so that probably took a little bit longer, but $150,000 today, you guys, of business line of credit. And you probably be asking, why do I need to do that when I'm doing investments? Well, I want to build too, and I'm trying to rehab my freaking triplex, so I don't want to use my cash. So this is like another way that you can OPP, use other people's money, but it's actually your business line of credit, and it doesn't affect your personal credit. To build or to invest, I would advise, getting with someone and understanding the corporation. I definitely would not say real estate as your SIC code, as I think I've talked about in another video, but it's really important to just have it very brief so that they can allowed to give you money, because most banks won't give you for real estate investing, but they will give you for consulting or business. You just want to be a little bit vague. I would not specify real estate, but that's my little tidbit on my bank journey. I'm going to see if I could cut and paste some of my bank conversations in there. I tried to record them. I just got to figure out how I'm going to record this. I hope this helps. And if you like it, please like, subscribe, and make comments. Thank you.